If ever there was a time for people to be confident in their prayer lives, now is such a time. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 3 of Beha Elatecha. Let's go into the book of Bamidbar, chapter 9, Numbers chapter 9, and we see that there is an issue that has arisen where there are men who are defiled because of proximity to a dead body. When Pesach comes, they, in their ritual uncleanness, are not permitted to observe Pesach. It is suggested by some rabbinical scholars that the reason that they are defiled is that they're carrying the sarcophagus or the coffin of Joseph. Therefore, they are ritually unclean. So they appealed to Moshe, and they asked, why is it that we can't observe? We're wanting to keep the commands of Yah. And so we come to a very powerful verse that is striking every time I read this. So they came to him and they asked the question, and his response in verse number 8 is, and Moshe said to them, wait, let me hear what Yahweh commands concerning you. And then following, and Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, when any male of you or your generations is unclean for a being, is far away on a journey, he shall still perform the Pesach of Yahweh. The reason that this verse stands out to me is that when he is presented with the problem, Moshe looks confidently at these men and says, wait right here. I'm going to go ask Yah and get an answer. He didn't say, well, let me pray about it and see what happens. I'll get back to you when I hear something. He says, wait and let me go talk to Yah and get an answer. This is a striking difference from the man that we first met. He was timid, reluctant, argumentative about why he was unqualified and please get somebody else to do this job. He stands up before Pharaoh, makes a bold announcement. Things don't go well, and he's complaining. You left me hanging. You threw me under the bus. I did what you said, and it's only worse for my people. And now they don't want to listen to me. This is not going to work. Somehow, through this process of time and being proven and tested, having led in the wilderness now for a year, having seen the disasters of people complaining about food and water, the gold calf, Moshe has gone up and down on the mountain many times. He has heard the voice of Yah, and through it all, out of necessity, he has built a powerful relationship with the Most High. In this relationship, he now stands with a great sense of confidence. I can pray, and I will be heard, and I will get an answer. You and I live in a day where people must pray. Now, it's really always been the case. And there are times and seasons throughout our histories where we look back and things changed because people prayed. I remember decades ago when the first Gulf War took place, and under President Bush Sr., our troops were mustered and they were sent into battle. And it didn't last very long, about 100 days. But I also remember that in those days, people got on their face and they prayed. The news media had us psyched up and afraid that the Iraqi army was a formidable foe and was capable of really doing us damage and great harm. And so we sent soldiers into harm's way, really not having been tested severely in a long while. They came home victorious after about 100 days. Prayer worked. It wasn't so much the prowess and the ability of the military might of America as it was the hand of Yah moved in our favor because we sought him. We went into the second advent of the Persian Gulf War. We've gone into Afghanistan. We've gone into surrounding areas. and we haven't prayed, and we're still there. You see, we're dependent upon something other than the might of people on their face before the Most High, asking Him for victory and intervention in our nation and in the lives of those who trust Him. When we fail to pray, the assault of darkness prevails. It can't get any simpler than that. When you and I do not seek the face of the Father, calling upon Yahweh, we are defeated. Darkness prevails, evil wins, and righteousness takes a back seat. However, if you and I will repent for our prayerlessness, if we will turn our face toward the Most High, if we will cry out to Yah Almighty, He will indeed hear us. But we should have a great confidence in our relationship. So when we bow our knee in prayer, it helps to have already built a relationship with Him through His Word, meditating on Him, focusing on listening to the Ruach HaKodesh for leading and guidance according to the Word, and then having spent some time perhaps in worship and adoration of Him. Crying out to Him then gives us a sense of confidence. I know that He will hear me because it's not been 2 years since I've approached Him. I've been in His presence recently. We need familiarity with the face of Him. We need to know that He is looking favorably upon us. Now, there is another verse in this chapter that I want to point out, and that's the last verse. The context is that the cloud, as it is stationed or as it moves, Israel either pitches their tents or they pack up and they move as the cloud moves. The last verse gives us some information that is in this context, saying, at the mouth of Yahweh they camped, and at the mouth of Yahweh they departed. Now, the mouth of Yahweh evidently then is revealed by whether the cloud is stationary or whether it's moving. But listen to what it says then. They guarded the charge of Yahweh at the mouth of Yahweh, and then this phrase, by the hand of Moshe. The reality is this: Yah leads us. He leads His people on Israel, but He does so by the hands of those that He has raised up to be a leader. Leaders have to lead. The body of Messiah, the Hebraic roots community in particular, is suffering right now because of lack of right leadership. We've looked to those that are teachers and say they are our leaders. Not necessarily so. The gift of teaching does not automatically assume leadership. It's insightful, it's helpful, it gives us some sense of direction as to how to study and how to pray. But just because an individual is a great teacher, it does not mean that they are a great leader. I've known some great pastors and preachers. They were wonderful in the pulpit as a communicator. They didn't administrate very well. There are others that administrated who knew how to inspire and organize and put people together in a great function or functionality and get them moving in a good direction. They may not have been very good as a public speaker, but they knew how to get people going. Right now, in our body, we need men and women who know how to lead. In the vacuum of no prophets, we have people suggesting their insights and claiming to have some special vision. We have those that are declaring their interpretation of scriptures, and we're all running in wrong directions. We need those that Yah has called like Moshe, who hear His voice, who have confidence in their prayer life, that can get an answer to be able to stand up and say, the voice of Yah has spoken. Join with me in prayer that Yah will raise up such people in our day. Until tomorrow, shalom.